This video is going to go out to Nell Komar Productions, Boring TV channel, and it's going to go to Flower Child. I'm going to read you these comments. First of all, I'm going to read you Flower Child. Except you have to remember this kid has been going to school for 10 years. That is far more than having no experience. He may not understand all that it is to be a teacher, but he does understand very well what it is to be a student. He can tell what teaching methods work for students. And for the record, I think I have the right to criticize a construction worker if the house he is building is falling over, regardless of whether I personally know how to build a house. I'm going to get into a lot of this in a little bit, but let's go on to Nell Komar Productions. It just gets worse. Ready? Just because he does not have the credentials that you think he should have, which I know he should have, does not mean he doesn't have a right to criticize. Oh, I can debate that, and I'm going to go ahead and do that in just a second. His country. Now, here's the first error. That's a grammatical error. Okay. Secondly, this kid is not the king of this country. He is also not the person that owns the most property in this country. It is our country, not his country. That's a big mistake. And his future, it is our future, not his future. Okay? That's grammar right there. His country and his future that the teachers hold in his hands. Okay, is that they hold in their hands. You are actually trying to say that they are holding his country and his future in their hands. That's a big dose of grammar problems right there. Okay? And if he's seeing that there is something wrong, he has the right by the Constitution to voice his opinion. No, he does not. Or at least he didn't until he turned 18. You see, as a minor, he does not have the right to say anything. Check your Constitution. It will tell you that a citizen starts at 18 years old. At 18, you have the right to vote. At 18, you have the right to smoke. At 18, you have the right to go in the military. You don't have any rights until you're 18 years old. He has just turned 18, and now he does finally has those rights to say things. But under the Constitution, until you are 18, you don't have the rights because you're not a citizen. Okay? Now you say, well, he was a natural-born citizen. He is a natural-born human being that has the right to stay here. But to be considered truly a citizen of the United States, he has to be 18 years old. As a matter of fact, even at 18, he doesn't have all of his rights because he still can't run for the House of Representatives, he still can't run for the Senate, and he still can't run to be President of the United States. He can't even consume alcohol until he's 21, and that's in the Constitution too. He doesn't get all of his freedoms until he's 18 years old. The only thing that being born in the United States guarantees you is that you can actually stay in this country without any protests. And he doesn't have all these rights yet. He doesn't even have the rights to drop out of school until he's 17. Check it out. You'll find out. You are just like many other teachers out there that no matter what the teacher, you will stick by them and defend them no matter what. Okay, well, first of all, I'm not a teacher. I'm a level 1 data processor. I happen to be a teacher here on YouTube, but I don't have any masters in teaching. Okay? I have a master's in data processing. That's the difference. Number 2, in case you hadn't watched a lot of my videos, I have told people there's a lot of bad teachers out there, and they need to be put on the unemployment line. I don't agree with every teacher and what they do. That's a simple lack of education on your part. You didn't learn about me first, then come criticize me. You just criticized me without knowing who I was or what I stood for. Another error on your part. Even if what they did was wrong, we need more Jeff. No, you need more me, not Jeff. Why? Because I have the credentials and he doesn't. And I'll get into that in a minute. What she did is wrong, end of story. Really? You don't have the credentials to say it. Why don't you put up some of your credentials for a change, and let's see what kind of credentials you have. Then we'll compare notes. Plus, you can compare a construction worker with a teacher. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. He did the right thing, and there's nothing wrong with what he did. Oh, yes, there is. The only wrong thing here is people like you. No, that's not correct. That just because he does not have credentials that you demand, he has no right to voice his opinion. I'm going to prove that in just a second. So go back to supporting abusive teachers. When did I ever support an abusive teacher? If you watched my video a little more carefully, you would see that I agreed that the teacher was wrong. I just said he didn't have the credentials to say it. I do. You say, well, you don't have a master's in teaching. I don't need a master's in teaching because I have a master's in something else. Plus, I have actually tutored people. Plus, I have been teaching on YouTube for 4 years. So you see, just because I don't have a master's in teaching does not necessarily mean that I don't have an education. I am not battling these teachers because I have a master's in teaching. I am battling these teachers because I have enough of an intelligence to say that I know just about as much as they do. I may have not formally been in a classroom, but that doesn't have to be that way. I have personally interacted with over 600 people. That gives me the qualifications in adult ed to say that person was wrong. That's the difference. Boring TV Channel writes, first of all, why did you send this video to me? This goes back to a video that I presented, Social Media 101. You posted a comment on the following video. Ready for this? The video was entitled Jeff Bliss Rants, Lectures Teacher on Lack of Passion for Profession. Of course, that title is grammatically incorrect. But the thing is, you posted a comment on a major video that is viral. It goes all over the place. It's been watched several thousands of times. It has a ton of comments on there. And because you posted that and I read that comment, I then sent you mine. That's why I sent the video to you. You showed interest in Jeff Bliss. I showed you my opinion. There you go. Okay, now this goes back to the Roman forums, which apparently you know nothing about. But in the Roman forums, people would bring up a topic, which is what was done on that video, and then the crowd would respond to that, and there would be a debate between one person in the crowd and the other. You can check that out in your history books, and I hope you do, before you respond to me again. How does a person's level of education matter if they have something to say? Credibility. That's what it's all about. It's credibility. Don't act high and mighty and don't send me videos like this, okay? If you don't want videos like this, don't leave comments on public videos like that. Act high and mighty? I am high and mighty. Okay? I have better credentials than you. So before you even think about sending me another comment again, you present your credentials. Then we'll see who has the more rational, reasonable thing to say. Okay. Now then, why are credentials so important? Well, you can ask Galveston, Texas about that and go to their history books. Because there really was a meteorologist that knew that a hurricane was coming. He had the credentials to tell people that a hurricane was coming. They scoffed at him, they mocked him, and a lot of them died because they didn't listen to this guy who actually had the credentials to say, there's a hurricane coming. Let me tell you something. If there is a real fire in the back of a movie theater, and a person that comes out has worked for the fire department or worked for the police department, you might want to listen to them when they tell you, hey, there's a fire in the theater, you might want to get out. It's about credibility. Who are you going to believe? Some cuckoo on the street that has no formal education whatsoever, or somebody, okay, who has a degree in astronomy and comes out and starts saying, hey, there's an asteroid headed for Earth that's going to kill us all if we don't do something about it quick. Who are you going to believe? It's about credibility. This kid was a high school dropout. That means he didn't even have a complete formal education in anything. At least I have a formal education in something. That's the difference. I do have a formal education. Maybe I'll be a master's in teaching, but I've also been to college. So they can't stand there and say, well, you've never been to college, so you don't know anything about what's going on. Yes, I've been to college. Yes, I do research just like you. I had to do research in college just like you. I did research in accounting, computer programming. I have demonstrated that I have exceptional mathematical skills. So I have almost as much credentials as you do. And because I have been on social media for 4 straight years, that gives me the credibility to finally say the educational system is broke. I have been very observant. I have been watching people. They have their smartphones. They are so engrossed in them that they now no longer see the cars that are coming right at them and going to hit them. And I dare any teacher to go out there and see for themselves exactly what I'm talking about. It's all about credibility. As a matter of fact, that whole credibility debate is exactly what goes on when people are debating atheism and Christianity. Who has the greater credibility? Okay? Who are you going to believe? Somebody that only has memorized one Bible verse? John 3:16, Jesus so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son? Or are you going to believe somebody that has done some major research and learned quite a few things and can present very stable facts? Who are you going to believe? The kid is not being believed because he has no credibility. Now, when he gets out of high school and he goes to college and he exposes himself to social media on a mass scale, then he'll have the credibility, and I'll probably support him. And as for that construction worker example I was giving to you, all right, when a construction worker does a poor job, his whole work will show itself for what it really is. It will fall down and collapse. If he builds a house poorly, nobody has to say he built it poorly. It will just come and crumble. And this is the same thing with education. I was in a class with 17 other students. It was an accounting class, okay? We were all doing poorly. All of us. We were all getting Fs. Now, that's no coincidence. And when I went up to the school administration, this was not high school, this was actual college. When I went to college administration, I said, look, I said, all 17 of us plus myself have gotten Fs in this class, so it's not just me that can't learn from this teacher, it's all of us who can't learn from this teacher. Then they said, okay, this teacher must be doing something wrong, otherwise all of you wouldn't be flunking. Some of you would, but it wouldn't be all of you. Sometimes a teacher's work speaks for itself. And then he doesn't have to say anything. Now then, I will not accept a single more comment on this until you guys stand there, watch all 2,400 and let's see how many videos I got now. You're going to love this. You guys, before you comment again, you are going to be watching all 2,479 of my videos. If you don't, I will absolutely delete your comment and I'll block you. You watch my videos first, then you come back and comment to me. As I will not accept your comments otherwise. That's a fact. Don't believe me? Try me. And that's all I've got to say. So, I will tell you all more in a future video. Stay tuned.